Remember? Yeah! And then get off the box. And then I don't understand. Just I can see more, right? Here. That wasn't hard now. Thank you very much for all your help.
As I remember, Adam, it was upon this fashion bequeathed me by will but 4,000 crowns that, as thou sayest, charged my brother on his blessing to breed me well. And there begins my sadness. My brother Jacques, he keeps at school, and reports speaks goldenly of his profit. For my part, he keeps me rustically at home, or to speak more properly, he stays me here at home and kept. For call you that for keeping a gentleman of my birth differs not from the stalling of an ox. They're taught their manage, and their riders are dearly hired, and I, his brother, gain nothing under him but growth. The spirit of my father grows strong in me, and I'll no longer endure it. Yet I know no wise remedy how to avoid it.
Yonder comes my master, your brother.
Go apart, Adam. Thou shalt hear, or he will shake me up.
Now, sir, what make you here?
Nothing, I'm not taught to make anything.
What mar you then, sir?
Marry, sir, I'm helping you mar what God has made, a poor unworthy brother of yours with idleness.
Marry. Sir, be better employed, and be naught a while.
Shall I keep your hogs and eat husks with them?
Know you where you are? Sir?
Oh, sir, very well, here in your orchard.
Know you before whom, sir?
I, better than him I am before, knows me. I have as much as my father in me as you, albeit I confess your coming before me is closer to his reverence.
What, boy?
Come, come, elder brother, you were too young at this.
Wilt thou lay hands on me, villain?
I am no villain. I am the youngest son of Sir Rowland de Boyce. He was my father, and he was right a villain, as such a father should begot villains. Were thou not my brother, I would pull out thy tongue for saying so.
Sweet masters, be patient, for your father's sake. Be at accord.
You shall hear me. My father charged you in his will to give me good education, and you have trained me like a peasant, obscuring and hiding all gentlemanlike qualities from me. I have as much of my father in me as you, albeit I confess I will no longer endure it. So, grant me such exercises as to become a gentleman, or give me the poor lottery my father left me by testament. I'll buy my fortunes.
And what wilt thou do? Beg when that is spent? Well, sir, get you in. I will not long be troubled with you. You shall have some part of your will. I pray you leave me.
I no longer offend thee, then becomes me for my good.
Good morrow to your worship.
Good, Monsieur Charles, what's the new news?
In the news, sir, but the old news. That is, the old Duke has been banished from his kingdom by his younger brother, the new Duke.
Can you tell if Rosalind, the Duke's daughter, be banished with her father?
Oh, the Duke's daughter, her cousin, so loves her, being ever bred from their cradles together, that she would have died to stay behind her, or followed her into exile. She is no less beloved of her uncle than his own daughter. Where will the old Duke live? They say he's already in the forest of Arden, and the many merry men with him. What? You wrestle tomorrow before the new Duke? Marry do I, sir? I came to acquaint thee with the matter. I am given, sir, to understand that your younger brother, Orlando, hath the disposition to come in disguise to try a fall against me. Tomorrow I wrestle for my credit, and he that escapes me without broken limb shall acquit him well.
Charles! I thank thee for thy love to me.
Ah, God keep your worship.
Farewell, good Charles. Now will I stir this gamester. I have myself notice of my brother's purpose herein, and have by underhand means laboured to dissuade him from it. I hope I shall see an end of him, for my soul, yet I know not why hates nothing more than he. Yet he's gentle, never schooled and yet learned, of all sorts enchantingly beloved, so much in the heart of the world, and of my own people who best know him, that I am altogether misprized. But it shall not be so long. This wrestler shall clear all. nothing remains but that I kindle the boy thither, which now I'll go about.
I pray thee, Rosalind, sweet my cause, be merry.
I show more mirth than I am mistress of, Celia, and would you yet I were merrier? If you cannot teach me to forget a banished father, you must not learn me to remember any extraordinary pleasure.
Henry, I see thou lovest me not with the full weight that I love thee. If my uncle, thy banished father, had banished your uncle, the Duke my father, so thou hast been still with me, I could have taught my love to take thy father for mine. So wast thou, if the truth of my love to thee was so rightly tempered as mine is to thee.
Well, then I shall forget the condition of my estate to rejoice in yours.
You know, my father hath no child but I. So truly, when he dies, thou shalt be his heir. For what he hath taken away from thy father perforce, I will render thee again in affection. By mine honour I will. And when I break that oath, let me turn monster. Therefore, my sweet Rose, my dear Rose, be merry!
Oh, from henceforth I will, cause and devise for. Let me see. What think you of falling in love?
Marry, do I prithee to make sport with all. Yet love no man in good earnest, nor no further in sport neither than with the safety of a pure blush, thou mayst in honour come off again.
What shall be our sport then?
Let us sit and lock the good housewife Fortune from her wheel. May her gifts henceforth be bestowed equally.
I would we could do so, for the bountiful blind woman doth most mistake in her gifts to women.
'Tis true, for those that she makes fair, she scarce makes honest. Yet those that she makes honest, she makes very ill-favoured.
Nay, now thou goest from Fortune's office to Nature's. Fortune reigns in the gifts of the world, not in the lineaments of nature.
No! When nature hath made a fair creature, may she not by fortune fall into the fire? Though nature hath given us wit to flout at fortune, hath fortune not sent in this fool to cut off the argument?
Indeed, fortune is most natural, being the natural cutter off of nature's wit.
Peradventure this is not fortune's work neither, but nature's, who perceiveth our natural wits too dull to reason of such goddesses, and has sent in this fool as our whetstone. For the dullness of the fool is the whetstone of the wits. How now, wit? Whither wander you?
Mistress, you must come away to your father.
Were ye made the messenger?
No, by mine honour, but I was bid to come for you.
Where learned you that oath, fool?
Of a certain man, swearing by his honour, they have a good pancake, and swearing by his honour that the mustard was naught. Now I'll stand to it. The pancakes were naught and the mustard was good. And yet it was not the man forsworn.
How prove you that in the great heap of your knowledge?
Aye, marry now, unmuzzle your wisdom.
Stand you both forth now, strike your chins, and swear by your beards that I am a knave.
By our beards, if we had them, thou art.
By my knavery, if I had any, well, I were. But if you swear by that is not, well, I'm not performed. No more was this man swearing by his honour, for he never had any. If he had sworn it away before ever he had seen those pancakes or that mustard.
But who is the man that you talk of?
The old Duke that your father loves.
Oh, well then my father's love is enough to honour him. But come, you'll be whipped for taxation when you beat him.
The more pity that foolish men may not speak wisely what wise men do foolishly.
By my troth, thou sayest true. For the little wit that fools have the silence, yet the foolery of wise men makes a great show. Here comes Monsieur Le Beau,
With his mouth full of news.
which he will put in us as pigeons feed their young.
And then we shall be newsbound.
All the better, we should be the more marketable. Bonjour, Monsieur Le Beau. What's the news?
Fair princess, you have lost so much good sport.
Sport? Of what colour?
Why, I would have told you of good wrestling, of which we have lost sight of.
Yet tell us the manner of the wrestling.
Well, I'll tell you the beginning, and if it please your ladyships, you may see the end. For the best is yet to do. And here, where you are, they are coming to perform it.
Well, the beginning, that is, dead and buried.
Here comes an old man with 3 sons.
I could match this beginning with an old tale.
3 sons of proper presence and growth. The eldest of which wrestled with Charles, the Duke's wrestler, which Charles in a moment threw him and broke 3 of his ribs. So there was little hope of life in him. So he served the second, and so the third. Yonder they lie, the poor old man, making such a pitiful dole over them that all beholders take his part in anything.
Alas.
But what is the sport, monsieur, that the ladies have lost?
Why, this that I speak of.
Hapless men may grow wiser every day. It is first ever I heard that breaking of ribs was sport for ladies.
All right, I promise thee.
Shall we see this wrestling, cuz?
Well, you must if you stay here, for here's the place appointed for the wrestling, and they are ready to perform it.
You're sure they're coming. Let us now stay and watch it.
Come now, since the youth will not be entreated, his own peril on his foolishness.
Is yonder the man?
Even he, madame.
Alas, he is too young, yet he looks successfully.
And now, daughter and cousin, are you stepped hither to see the wrestling?
If so please you give us leave, my liege.
You will take this and delighted, I believe. There are such odds in the man, a pity this challenger's sooth I would fain dissuade him, for so that he will not be entreated. Speak to him, lady, see if you can move him.
Call him like
Monsieur le Beau.
you.
Monsieur the Challenger. The princess calls for you.
I attend them with all respect and duty.
Sir, have you challenged Charles the wrestler?
No, he is the general challenger. I come but in as I was due to try with him the strength of my youth.
Young gentlemen, your spirits are too bold for your years. You've seen cool proof of this man's strength. If you saw yourself with your eyes or knew yourself with your judgment, the fear of your revenge will counsel you for a much more equal enterprise. We pray you, for your own safety, to give over this attempt.
Do. It might misprize your reputation. We might make it our suit to the Duke that the wrestling should not go forward.
I beseech you, punish me not with your hard force, wherein I confess me much guilty to deny such fair and excellent ladies anything. But let your fair eyes and gentle wishes go with me to my trial, where if I be foiled, there be one shame that was never gracious. If killed, one dead that is willing to be so. I'll do my friends no wrong, for I have none to lament me, and well no injury, for in it I have nothing. Only in the world I fill up a place which may be better supplied when I have made it empty.
The little strength I have, I would it were with you.
Mine to eke out hers.
Your heart's desires be with you.
You shall try but one fall.
Thunderbolt, my lord. I think it's down.
Oh, excellent, young man!
Whoa!
Nice! Kill him.
No more.
You are nothing to me.
Yes, I beseech you, guys.
Anybody else wearing facial hair?
How doth thou, Charles?
He cannot speak, my lord.
Bear him away.
Ow.
What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, my liege, the youngest son of Sir Rowland de Boyce.
I wish thou hadst told me of another father. The world esteems thy father honourable, but still I did find him mine enemy. Thou had better please me with this deed, had thou descended from another house. But fare thee well, thou art a gallant youth.
I'm more proud to be Sir Rowland's son than be adopted heir to Frederick.
My father loved Sir Rowland as his soul, and all the world was of my father's mind. Had I before known this young man to be his son, I should have given tears unto entreaties ere he should have thus ventured.
Gentle cousin, let us go thank him and encourage him. My father's wrath and envious disposition sticks me at heart. Sir, you have deserved well. If you do keep your promises in love, but just as you have exceeded all promise, your mistress shall be happy.
Gentlemen, wear this for me. One out of 6 with fortune. Could give more, but that her hand lacks means. Will you go, cuz?
Aye, pray you well, fair gentlemen.
Can I not say I thank you? My better parts are all thrown down, and that which here stands up is but a quintain, and my lifeless block. Oh!
He calls us back. My pride fell with my fortunes. I'll ask him what he would. Did you call, sir? Oh. Sir, you have wrestled well and overthrown more than your enemies.
Will you go, cuz?
Just with thee.
Very well.
What weights are hung upon my tongue? I cannot speak to her, yet she urged conference. Oh, Orlando, thou art overthrown. The Charles of something weaker masters thee.
Cousin, why, Rosamond? He would have mercy, not a word.
Not one to throw at a dog.
No. Thy words are too precious to be cast away upon curs. Throw some of them at me. Come, lay me with
There
reasons.
should be 2 cousins laid up with reasons, when the one should be mad with them and the other mad without any.
But is all this for your father?
No. Some of it is for my child's father. No. Oh, how full of briars is this workaday world?
They are but burrs, cousin, thrown upon the in-holiday foolery. If we walk not in the trodden paths, our very petticoats will
I
catch
could
them.
take them off my coat. These burrs are in my heart.
Hem them away.
I would if I could cry hem and have him.
Come, come. Wrestle with thy affection.
Oh, they take the part of a better wrestler than myself.
Is it? Honey? Oh, a good wish upon you. You will try in time in spite of a fall. But turning these jests out of service, let us talk in good earnest. Is it possible, on such a sudden, that you should fall into such strong a liking with old Sir Rowland's youngest son?
The Duke, my father, loved his father dearly.
Doth it therefore into you that you should love his son dearly? By this kind of chase, I should hate him. My father hates his father dearly.
Well, hate him not for my sake.
Why should I not? Doth he not deserve well?
Well, let me love him for that, and do you love him because I do? Here comes the Duke.
I'm full of anger.
You mistress, despite you with your safest haste and get thee from our court!
Me, uncle?
You, cousin, if thou beest found in our public quarters 20 miles, thou diest for it.
I do beseech your grace, if I do not dream or be not frantic, if I hold acquaintance with my own desires, as I do trust that I do. Never in so much as a thought unborn have I offended your highness.
Thus do all traitors, if their perjuration did consist of words that are as innocent as grace itself, but let it suffice thee that I trust thee not.
Your mistrust cannot make me a traitor. Tell me on the likelihood depends.
Thou art thy father's daughter. That is enough.
So was I when your highness took his dukedom. So was I when your highness banished him. Treason is not inherited, my lord. And if we did derive it from our friends, then what good is that to me? My father was not a traitor. Did you not mistake me so much as to think my poverty is treacherous?
This doesn't really speak.
Aye, Celia. We stayed here for your sake. Else she with her father ranged along!
I did not entreat to have her stay. It was your shame and your own remorse. I was too young at the time to value her. But now I know her. Why, if she be a traitor, so am I. But still, we have slept together, rose with Millicent, learned, played, eat together. And worse where we went, like Juno swans. Still we went coupled and inseparable.
She is too supple for thee. Her smoothness, her very subtlety, and her patience speak to the people, and they pity her. She robs thee of thy name, and that will show more bright and seem more virtuous when she is gone. Open not thy lips. Firm and irrevocable is my doom, which I have passed on to her, for she is banished.
Pronounce that sentence then on me, my liege. I cannot live out of her company. Oh, my poor Rosalind, whither wilt thou go? Will I change fathers? I'll give thee mine. I charge thee, be not thou more grieved than I am.
I have more cause.
Thou hast not, cousin. Knowest thou not the Duke hath banished me? His daughter.
That he has not.
No, hath not. Rosalind lacks then the love that teacheth thee that thou and I am one. Shall we be sundered? Shall we part, my sweet girl? No. Let my father seek another heir. Therefore devise with me how we may fly, whither to go, and what to bear with us. And do not seek to take your charge upon you, to bear your griefs yourself and leave me out. For, by this heaven, now that our sorrow is pale, say what thou canst, I'll go along with thee.
Who's there? What? Sweet master. Oh, in memory of old Sir Roland. What make you here? Your praises come too swiftly home before you. Know you not, master, that to some kind of men, their grace is served but as enemies. Oh, what a world is this, and what is comely, and venom's in that bears it. What's the matter?
Oh, unhappy youth, come up within these doors, within this roof, the enemy of all your graces lives, the brother. No brother, yet the son, yet not the son. Of him I was about to call his father, hath heard your praises, and this night he means to burn the lodging where you used to lie, and you within it. If you fail of that, we'll have other means to cut you off. I overheard him in his practices. This is no place. This house is but a butchery. Abhor it, fear it. Do not enter it.
Why? Whither shall we go?
I would that, Adam, where wouldst thou have me go?
To seek my uncle in the forest of Arden.
Alas, what danger will it be to us, maids as we are, to travel forth so far for beauty, doth provoke a thief as soon as gold?
I'll dress myself in poor and mean attire, and with a kind of umber smirch my face, the like to you. So shall we pass and never stir assailant?
No matter whither, so you come not here.
What? Wouldst thou have me go and beg my food? This I must do, know not what to do. Yet this I must do how I can. I'd rather subject into the malice of diverted blood than bloody brother.
But do not so. I have 500 crowns, but 50 higher I saved under your father. Let me be your servant. Though I am old, yet I am strong and lusty, for I never did apply hot and rebellious vigors in my youth, nor did unbound forehead woo. Therefore I am as a lusty winter, frosty, yet kindly. Let me go with you. I will do the service of a younger man in all your business and necessities.
Were it not better that I did suit me your points like a man?
What shall I call you when thou art a man?
I'll have no worse a name than Jove's own page. Therefore, let me call me Ganymede. Ganymede.
Gabongamede.
Close enough. What shall you be called?
Something that hath reference to my state. No longer Celia, but Aliena.
O good old man, how well in thee appears the constant service of the antique world, where service sweat for duty, not for meed. Thou art not for the fashion of these times, and none will sweat but for promotion, and even with the having will choke their service up, but not with you. But come, my lords, ere when we have thy youthful wages spent, will light upon some settled low content.
But cousin. What if we assailed to steal that clownish fool out of your father's court? Would he not be a comfort to our travels?
It will go along with the word well with me. Leave me alone to do this. Let's away and get our doors and mark together, devise the fittest time and safest way, to save us from pursuit that will be made after my flight.
Go on, master. I'll follow thee to the last gasp with truth and loyalty.
Now we go in content, to liberty, and not to banishment.
How now, my co-mates and brothers in exile? Hath not old Custom's made this life more sweet than that of painted pomp? Are these woods not all free from cows and the envious courts? For here we feel but the penalty of Adam, and the child is showing from the wind to wind, which like an icy fang blows and bites my body even till I shrink with cold. But I smile and say, this is no flattery, these are counsels which merely to persuade me what I am. Such is adversity, which like a tyrant ugly and venomous, where there's a precious jewel on their heads. And this is our life free from public courts, to find tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, songs in stones, and everything, and I would not change it.
My legs were not weary.
I could find it in my heart to disgrace my man's apparel and cry like a woman, but I ought to show myself courageous to the weaker vessel as nothing in hose ought to show itself courageous to petticoat. Therefore, courage, good Aliena.
I pray you bear with me. I cannot go any further.
For my part, I'd rather bear with you than bear you.
Well, this is the forest of Arden.
Aye, I in Arden, the more fool-like. When I was at home, I was in a better place. But travellers will speak of it.
Aye, be so good touchstone. Who comes here?
That is the way to make us call you Sten.
Oh, Corinth, that thou mused how I do love her.
I partly guess, for I have loved her now.
Being old, thou canst not guess. Though in thy youth there was a truer lover as ever sighed upon a midnight pillow. But if thy love were ever like to mine, as sure I did think never man loved so, how many actions most ridiculous hast thou been drawn to by the fantasy?
Into 1,000 that I have forgotten.
Oh, then thou dost never love so heartily. If thou rememberest not the slightest folly that ever love did make thee run into, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not stood, as I do now, wearing thy hero and thy mistress's praise, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not broken from company, abruptly as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved. Oh, Phoebe!
Alas, poor steward, searching of thy wound, I have by much hard adventure found mine own.
And I mine.
I too remember when I was in love. I broke my sword upon a stone and bid him for coming a night to Jane's smile. And I too remember the kissing of her battler, of the cow's dogs that her pretty chapped hands had milked. And I remember the wooing of Peascod instead of her, from whom I took 2 cods. But anyway, lovers must be content.
Jove, Jove, the steward's passion is much in my fashion.
I pray, someone question your man. The gold will give us some.
Holla, you clown.
Peaceful, he's not my kinsman.
Who calls?
Your betters, sir.
Peaceful.
So they very wretched.
A good even to you, friend.
And good even to you, gentle sir, and to you all.
I pray you, sir. Here we have with us a young maid who faints for secure. I prithee, if gold or entertainment can buy us food, take us to this place to faint.
Fair sir, I pity her, and wish for my sake more than for mine own, that my fortunes are more able to relieve her. But I am steward to another man.
I like this place and can willingly spend my time in it.
Go with me if you like this kind of life. I will your very faithful feeder be, and buy us with your gold right suddenly. It's mine. There's not enough for the most of us. There's only enough for me. You can't have any because you will have some. Where have they gone?
I prithee more.
It'll make you melancholy, Monsieur Jackson.
Oh, I thank it. I can suck melancholy out of a song like a weasel sucks eggs.
My voice is ragged. I cannot please you.
I do not desire you to please me. I do desire you to sing. Come, more.
Ambition shine and loves to live in the sun, seeking the food he eats and pleased with what he gets. Come hither, come hither, come hither.
I'll sing you a song to this note which I wrote yesterday, in spite of my invention. Come. If it doth come to pass that any man turn us, leaving his wealth and ease, a starving will to feed. Duck dame, duck dame, duck dame.
What is this duck dame?
It's a Greek invocation called falls into a circle. I'll go sleep, if I can.
master. I can go no further. Oh, I die for food. Here lie I down, and measure out my grave. Farewell, kind master.
Why, how now, Adam? No greater heart in thee? Live a little, comfort a little, cheer thyself a little. Thy conceit is nearer death than thy powers, so for my sake, be comfortable. Hold death a while at arm's end, and I'll be here with thee presently. If we find thee not something to eat, I'll give thee leave to die. But if thou diest before I come, thou art a mocker of my labour. Well said. Come, let us bear thee to some shelter and quiet.
I think he transformed into a beast, for nowhere can I find him like a man.
My lord, his medieval held on hands. Here he was merry hearing of a song.
If he can pack two of Giles' gross musical, then we shall surely have a great discord in the spheres.
He saves my labour with his own approach.
Well now, monsieur, what life is this that your poor friends must woo your company? What you look merrily?
A fool, I met a fool in the forest. As I do live by food, I met a fool. Good morrow, fool, quoth I. No, sir, quoth he. Call me not a fool until heaven hath sent me fortune. And then he drew a dial from his poke, and looking on it with lacklustre eyes, says very wisely, 'tis 10 o'clock. And thus we may see, quoth he, how the world wags. 'Tis but an hour ago since it was 9, and after 1 hour more 'twill be 11. And so from hour to hour we rot, and from hour to hour we ripe and ripe, and thereby hangs a tale. When I did hear this motley fools thus moral on the time, my lungs began to crow like Chanticleer. The fool should be so deep and contemplative. And I did laugh sans intermission, an hour by his dial. Oh, noble fool.
What fool was this?
Oh, worthy fool, one that had been a courtier, and says, if ladies be but young and fair, they have the gift to know it. And in his brain, which is as dry as the remainder biscuit after a voyage, hath strange places crammed with observations, the which he vents in mangled forms. An hour by his dial. Oh, that I were a fool. I am ambitious for a motley coat.
Then thou shalt have one.
It is my only suit. Suit.
Oh, ha ha.
Invest me in my motley.
Huh?
Give me leave to speak my mind, and I will...
Huh?
I will through and through...
Huh?
Cleanse thy foul body of the infected world.
Okay.
If you will patiently receive my medicine. But who comes here?
Forbear any no more!
Why, I've had none yet.
Nor shall not till necessity be served.
And what kind should this cock come of?
Art thou boldened by this man, by his distress, or as in the despair of good manners and that civility seems so empty?
You touched my vein at first, the thorny point. Of bare distress have taken from me the show. Of smooth civility yet I'm in and bred and know some nurture. But forbear, I say! He dies that touches any of this fruit till I and my affairs are answered.
Then you will not be answered with reason. I must die.
Oh! What would you have? Your gentleness shall force more than your force shall move us to gentleness.
I almost die for food, and let me have it.
Welcome, and sit too, and eat.
Speak you so gently? Pardon me, I pray you. I thought all things had been savage here, and therefore put I on the countenance. And whatever you are, and if ever you have looked upon better days, know what is to pity and be pitied. Let gentleness my strong enforcement be, in the which I hope I blush and hide my sword.
True it is that we have seen better days, but therefore sit you down in gentleness and take command upon here what we have, so that your wanting may be ministered.
And but forbear your food a little while. Whilst like a doe I go to find my form. There is an old poor man, who hath taken many a weary step after me, limped in pure love. Till he be first sufficed, I will not touch a bit.
Go, seek him out. We will waste nothing till you return.
I thank you most.
It seems that we are not alone unhappy. This wide and universal theatre presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play.
Well, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and each man in his time may play many parts, his acts being 7 ages. First, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. Then, the whining schoolboy, creeping like snail, unwillingly to school. Then, the lover, sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad made to his mistress's eyebrows. Then, the soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard. Jealous and honour, sudden and quick in quarrel. Then, the justice, in fair round belly with capon lined, with eyes severe, and beard formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances. The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved, a world too wide. His shrunk shank and big manly voice, turning again to childish treble, pipes and whistles in sound. The last stage of all, which ends this strange, eventful history, is a second childishness in mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Welcome. Sit down and rest your vulnerable burden.
Thank you much, gentlemen. So how do you need? I scarce can speak to thank you for myself.
Welcome, Paul too. To question you about your past. Give us some music and good cousin sing. Son, mine eye doth his effigy's prettiness that are most truly lined and trimmed in your face. I am the Duke that loves your father so, the residue of your fortune. Go to my cave, old man. Thou art welcome here as thy master is. Come now, support him by the arm, and give me your hand, and let me all your fortunes understand.
You were crying yesterday. I guess the truth hurts, but you know everything you say. You just keep making it worse.
mercy. I would not seek an absent argument of my revenge if thou present it. Find thy brother where'er he may be. Seek him with candle and bring him living or dead within these 12 months, or thou turn no more. To make a living in this country, thy land and all the things that thou dost call thine worst seizure do we seize into our hands, until thou canst quit thee by thy brother's name of what we think against thee.
Oh, that your highness knew my heart in this. I never loved my brother in my life.
More villain thou! Turn him out of doors, and let my officers of such a nature make an extent upon his house and his lands. Do this expediently, and turn him going!
Get off me!
Hang there my verse, in witness of my love, thou thrice-crowned queen of knights survey, with thy chaste eye from thy pale sphere above, thy huntress's name my full life doth sway. Oh, Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts are character. Run, Orlando, carve on every tree the fair, the chaste, and unexpressive sheep.
Today could be another day.
I'll wait and do whatever you say.
If you want me to, if you want me to, I will wait. If ever you need me, you just call. Promise I'll catch you and pay you for. I will wait.
Very good life. Very good back to steward's life. It is not. And you spend it is solitary. It is a good life. It is private. It is a very vile life.
I see, you're playing with fire, my friend.
As it is a vile life, look here, it fits my room well.
I can't.
As there is
what you get hurt.
plenty to it, goes much against my stomach.
But if you want me to, if you want me to, I will,
money means an inheritance. I love three good friends. That the property of rain is to wet and fire to burn. The good pasture makes fat sheep, and is a great cause of nothing in sun. And here's her learn, no rich by nature, nor art, made of good breeding, or comes of a very dull painter.
One is a natural philosopher.
From the east to western Ind, no jewel is like Rosalind. Her worth being mounted on the wind, though all the world bears Rosalind. All the pictures fair as the wind, all but black to Rosalind. Let no face be kept in mind, but the fair of Rosalind.
Oh, rhyme you so 8 years together. Dinners and suppers and sleeping times except
peaceful
for a taste. If a heart be like a hind, let him seek out Rosaline. If the cat will after kind, so be sure with Rosaline. Winter garments must be lined, so must slender Rosaline. Sourest nut hath sweetest rind, such a knot is Rosaline. Sweetest rose that he can find must find love's prick and Rosaline. These are all the very false gallop verses. Why do you infect yourself with them?
You dull fool, I did not write them, I found them on a tree.
Truly, the tree yields bad fruit.
Why should this a desert be? For it is unpeopled. No, time shall hang on every tree that shall civil saying show. Some, how brief the life of man, runs his errand pilgrimage, that the stretching of a span buckles in his son of age. Some of violated vows, twixt the soul of friend and friend, both upon the fairest vows, or at every sentence end. Will I, Rosalinda, right, teaching all that read to know, the quintessence of every sprite, heaven wood and little show. How now, back press! Steward, still for little. Go with him, Sirrah.
Come on, steward, let us make an honourable retreat.
Didst thou hear these verses?
Aye, and many more besides, for some had more feet than the verses could bear.
That's no matter, the feet might bear the verses.
Aye, but the feet were lame and could not bear themselves without the verse, and therefore stood lamely in the verse.
But didst thou hear these verses without wondering how thy name should be carved and hanged upon these trees? True, you who have done this.
Is it a man?
With a chain that you once wore around his neck. Change your colour?
Who is it?
Oh, it is a hard matter for praise to me. Mountains may be removed by earthquakes, and so encounter.
Nay, I prithee, who is it?
Is it possible?
Nay, I prithee now with most petitionary vehemence. Tell me who it is.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, most wonderful, wonderful. And yet again wonderful, and after that, out of all whipping.
Dost thou think, though I am caparisoned like a man, I have a doublet and hose in my disposition? 1 inch of delay more is a south sea of discovery. I prithee, tell me who it is quickly, and speak apace. I would thou couldst stammer, that thou must pour the knowledge of this concealed man like wine out of a narrow corked bottle, either too much at once, or none at all. Now take the cork out of thy mouth, that I may drink thy tidings.
So you make a man in your belly.
Oh, what manner of man is he? Is his head worth a hat, or his chin worth a beard?
Nay, he hath but a little bit.
Well, God will send more if the man be thankful. No, nay, let me stay the knowledge of his beard, if thou wilt deny me not the knowledge of his chin.
This young Orlando that tripped up the restless heels in your heart, both in an instant.
Nay, but the devil take mocking. Speak sad, proud, and true, maid.
I faith, because 'tis he.
Orlando.
Orlando.
Alas, the day. What said he when thou saw him? Where and went he? How looked he? Why is he here in the forest? Where dost thou see him again? Answer me in one word.
You must probably me got into his mouth first.
Oh, but does he know that I am in the forest and in man's apparel? Looks he as freshly as the day he did when he wrestled.
Oh, it is easy to come at me as a result of the persistence of a lover. But take a taste of my finding him and relish it with good observance. La 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 la. I found him under a tree, like a dropped acorn.
Oh, it must be Jove's tree if it drops forth such fruit.
Give me audience.
Sorry. Proceed.
There he lay, stretched along like a wounded knight.
Although it would be a pity to see such a sight, it much becomes the ground.
Cry hollow to the tongue, I prithee, it covets unreasonably. He was furnished like a hunter.
Oh, ominous! He comes to kill my heart.
I would sing my song without a burden. Thou brings me out, O Jew!
Dost thou not know I am a woman? When I think, I must speak.
You bring me out. Soft. Come see not here.
Sleep by and help him.
I thank you for your company, but good faith, I had as lief have been myself alone.
And so had I, but yet, for fashion's sake, I thank you too for your society.
God by you. Let's meet as little as we can.
Yes, I do desire would be better strangers.
I pray you mar no more trees with writing love songs in their barks.
I pray you mar no more my verses by reading them ill-favouredly.
Rosalind is your love's name?
Yes, just.
I do not like her name.
There was no thought of pleasing you when she was christened.
Of what stature is she?
Just as high as my heart.
By my troth, I was seeking a fool when I found you.
He is drowned in the brook. Look but in and you shall see him.
There I shall see but mine own figure.
Then I take you to be either a fool or a cipher.
I'll tarry no longer with thee. Farewell, good Signor Louvre.
I'm glad of your departure. Adieu, diminish your melancholy.
I will talk to him like a saucy lackey, and under that habit, play the knave with him.
Time.
I'm going. Go on.
Be here till Christmas.
Do you hear, Forrester?
Yes, very well. What would you?
What is a clock?
You should ask me what time of day is. There's no clock in the forest.
Ah, well then there's no true lover in the forest as sighing every minute and groaning every hour with the tick lazy for the time as well as the clock.
Why not the swift foot of time? Had that not been as proper?
Oh, no, by no means, sir. Time travels in diverse places with diverse persons. I'll tell you who time trots withal, ignore her, who he ambles withal, who he gallops withal, and who he stands still withal.
I prithee, who doth he trot withal?
Who doth he trot withal? Should really have thought that one through. Bear with. Married, sir, with a young maid. Between the contract of her marriage and the night it is solemnised. If the interim be but 7 nights, it seems the length of 7 years.
Who doth time ambles withal?
Oh, got this one. With a priest that lacks Latin, or, I've got 2, or a rich man that hath not the gout. For the one sleeps easy, for he knows no lean and wasteful learning, and the other knows no pain nor penury. These time ambles withal.
Who doth he gallop withal?
Why, with a thief to the gallows, though he go as slow as foot can fall, he thinks himself all too soon there.
And who stays it still withal?
With lawyers in the vacation, for they sleep from term to term and perceive not how time moves. Yes.
Where dwell you?
By the edge of this forest, like fringed upon Petticoat, with my sister here.
Are you native of this place?
As the Kearney you see dwell where she is kindled.
Your accent is something finer you can purchase than so moved to dwell.
I've been told so of many. But indeed, an old religious uncle of mine taught me how to speak, and he was in his youth an inland man who knew much of courtship, for there he fell in love. I've heard him read many lectures against it, and I thank God I am not a woman to be taxed with so many giddy offences as he attacks their whole sex at all.
Can you remember any of the principal evils he laid upon the charge of women?
There were none principal. Each one seemed monstrous till its fellow folk came to take its place.
I prithee, recount some of them.
Nay, I will not cast away my physic, but on those that are sick. There is a young man haunts the forest that puts elegies on blackthorns and sonnets on hawthorns. If I could speak to that young man, I might give him much good counsel, but he seems to have the very quotidian of love upon him.
I am he that so love Shakespeare. Pray you tell me your remedy.
You have none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me how to recognise a man in love, in which cage of bushes I am sure you are not a prisoner.
Well, what were his marks?
A blue eye, sunken, which you have not. Hollow cheeks, which you have not. A beard unkept, which you definitely have not. But I'll forgive you for that, for merely having a beard is the younger brother's right. Then your hose should be ungartered, your bonnet unbanded, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrements, in seeming the lover of yourself than any other.
I would I could make you believe I love.
Me? You may soon make she that you do love. Believe it, which she is probably apter to do than to confess that she does. That is one of the matters which women still give the lie to their conscience in.
By the right hand, Rosalind, I swear. Pray thee recount some of them.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes do profess?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness. I profess curing it by counsel.
Have you ever cured any so?
I, one, and in this manner. He was to imagine me his love, his mistress, at which time would I, being but a moonish youth, grieve, be shallow, effeminate, longing and liking, proud, fantastical, apish, full of tears, full of smiles, for no passion, everything, and for each passion something. For boys and women are, for the most part, cattle of this colour. Would first loathe him, then like him, would weep for him, then spit at him, would entertain him, then forswear him. And so I drave my suitor from a mad humour of love to a living humour of madness, which was to forsake the full stream of the world and live in a nook, merely monastic. And thus I cured him, and so I would take it upon me to cure you. I would wash your heart as free of love as a sound to each other. There will be not one spot of love in it.
And not be cured, youth.
I would cure you, if you would but come to my court every day and call me Rosalind.
By the faith of my love, I will. Tell me where it is.
I will show you, and on the way you must show me where in the forest you live. Come, sister, come! Will you go, sir?
All my heart, could you?
Nay, you must call me Rosalind.
Come pace, good order, we got one.
Your features? Lord warrant us. What features?
When a man's verses cannot be understood, nor a man's good wit seconded, with the forward child understanding, it strikes a man more dead than a great reckoning in a little room. Truly, I would the gods made thee poetical.
I do not know what poetical is. Is it honest in deed and word? Is it a true thing?
No. Truly, the truest poetry is the most feigning, and lovers are given to poetry, and what may be sworn in poetry may be said as lovers. They do feign.
Do you wish then that the gods had made me poetical?
I do, truly, for thou swearest to me that thou art on it. Now, if thou art a poet, I might have some hope thou didst feign.
Would you not have me honest?
No, truly, unless thou were hard favoured. For honesty coupled with beauty is to have honey, a sauce to sugar.
Well, I am not fair, and therefore I pray the gods make me honest.
Truly, for to cast away honesty upon a foul slut were to put good meat into an unclean dish.
I am not a slut. Thank the gods I'm foul.
Well, praise be the gods for thy foulishness. Her selfishness may come hereafter. But, be that as it may be, I will marry thee. And to that end I have been with Sir Oliver Martext, the vicar of the next village, who hath promised to meet me in this place in the forest, to couple us.
Well, the gods give us joy.
Will you be married, Motley?
As the ox hath his bow, and the horse his curb, and the falcon her bells, so man must have his desires. And as the pigeon's bill, so wedlock must be nibbling.
And will you, being a man of breeding, be married under a bush like a beggar? Get you to church, and have a good priest who can tell you what marriage is. This Martex fellow will but join you as they join wainscot, and then one of you will prove a shrunk panel, and like green timber, walk, walk.
I am in mind it were better to be married of him than of her. For he is not like to marry me well, and not being married well would be a good excuse for me hereafter to leave my wife.
Go thou with me. Let me counsel thee.
To him. Touchdown.
Baby. Touchdown.
Excuse me, sir, have you seen my? It has no value, but it was guiding me back to the path that I thought would on. So I lost my map, and after that, everything went wrong. I don't know where I'm going, so I'm just carrying on without really knowing. And I don't know where it is that I should go.
Never talk to me. I will weep.
Yeah. Have the grace to consider that this is not.
Have I not cause to weep? His very hair is of the dissembling colour.
Something brown and juicy. Mary.
Excuse me, sir, have you seen comers?
But why? Why did he say he would come this morning and comes not?
Nay, certainly there is no truth in him.
Some boys' hearts, sir, I drift, sir, I fell, sir, I've lost my compass now. I've been replaced.
I think he is not.
You have heard him swear down right he was.
Was is not is. Besides, the oath of a lover is no stronger than the word of a tapster. They're both the confirmer of false rhetoric. Can you tell us who the correspondence is? Father.
I met the Duke yesterday, and we had much good questions. He asked me of what parentage I was, and I said of the disease. So we laughed and spoke. But what are we of fathers when there is such a man as Orlando?
Oh, that's a brave man. He writes brave verses, speaks brave words, swears brave oaths, and breaks them bravely.
Would you carry me home?
Who comes here?
It's just a master. You have often cried after the shooting complained of blood, who you saw sitting by me on the turf, praising the proud disdainful shepherd as was his mistress.
Well, what of him?
If you will see a pageant truly played between the pale complexion of true love and the red glow of storm and proud disdain, go hence a little, and I shall conduct you if you will.
Come, the sight of lovers feedeth those in love. Take me to the sight, and I shall prove a busy
Just leave me! Don't scold me, no! Say that you love me not, but say not so in bitterness. The common executioner, whose heart the custom sight of death makes hard, falls not the axe upon the humbled neck, but first begs pardon. Will you sterner be than he that dies and lives by bloody drops?
I would not be of thy executioner. I fly thee, for I will not injure thee. Thou tellest me there is murder in mine eye. 'Tis pretty sure and very probable that eyes to the frailest and softest things who shut their coward gates on atomy should be called tyrants, butchers, murderers. Now I do frown on thee with all my heart. Did any pain there? No? Okay. And if mine eyes can now let them kill me. Oh! Now counterfeit the swoon! Or if
I love it when you're angry.
Why not say my eyes man? My eyes meant to leave. Fancy with the prison there are many strawberries. People around. Quite a beautiful impression. My palms are mannequins. And I'm an honest to have justly hurting on. And there is false eyes who can do hurt.
Huh? Ah! Good! Look at me! Ever make me you need to confess to me. The love's too narrow.
Until that time, come not thou near me. When that time comes, afflict me with thy mocks. Pity me not, as until that time, I shall not pity thee.
Why? Who might be your mother that you insult, exalt, and all at once overrected? What? Though you have no beauty in you, for I see no more in you than I stand from the dark to bed. Must we therefore proud and pitiless? What? Why do you look so upon me? I see no more in you than in the ordinary of nature's sales workers. Oh, it's my little lad. I think she needs to tangle my eyes too. Not please, proud mistress. But not after it. 'Tis not your inky brows, nor your orange silk hair, your silky hair, nor your cheek of cream that can enchain my spirits to your worship. And you, foolish steward, wherefore do you follow her like a foggy south puffing with wind and rain? Thou art 1,000 times a properer man than she a woman. 'Tis fools such as you that populate the world with such ill-favoured children. In you, she sees herself 1,000 times more proper than any of her lineaments can show her. And you, mistress, down on your knees, and thank the heaven fasting for a good man's love. For I must tell you, quiet, in your ear. Sorry. Sell when you can. You are not for all markets. Try the man mercy. Love him. Take his offer. Foul is most foul, being foul to be a scoffer. Young man, take her to thee. Fare thee well.
Sweet youth, I pray you chide a year together. Or rather he you chide than this man woo.
He's fallen in love with her foulness, and she'll fall in love with my anger. For as soon as she doth answer thee with bitter looks, I'll sauce her with bitter words. Why do you look so upon me?
No ill will I bear you.
I pray do not fall in love with me, for I am falser than vows made in wine. But if you will know of me, my house is here hard by this tuft of olives. Young man, take her to thee, ply her hard. Come, let us go.
Dead shepherd, now I find thy sore of might. Whoever loved that loved not at first sight.
Sweet Phoebe!
Ha! What sayest thou, Silvius?
Sweet Phoebe, pity me.
Why, I am sorry for thee, gentle Silvius.
Whatever sorrow is, relief would be. If you do sorrow at my grief and love, by giving love, your sorrow and my grief will both exterminate.
Thou hast my love, is not that neighbourly?
What have you?
Why, that were covetousness. Silvius, the time was that I hated thee, and now it is not that I bear thee love, but since thou talkst of love so well, thy company, which erst was irksome to me, I shall endure, and I'll employ thee too. But do not look for further recompense than thine own gladness thou art employed.
So holy and so perfect is my love, and I in such a poverty of grace, that I shall think it a most plenteous crop to glean the broken ears after the man that the main harvest reaps. Loose now and then, a scatter smile, and that I'll live upon.
Knowest thou the youth that spoke to me erewhile?
Not very well, but I've met him off.
Think not I love him, though I ask for him. 'Tis but a peevish boy. Yet he talks well. Yet what care I for words? Yet words do well, then he that speaks them pleases those that hear. 'Tis a pretty youth. Not very pretty, but sure, he's proud, and yet his pride becomes him. He is tall, yet not very tall, and his leg is but so-so, and yet 'tis well. There was a pretty redness in his lip, a little riper and more lusty red than mixed in his cheek. 'Twas just the difference betwixt constant red and mingled damask. There be some women, Silvius, had they marked him in parcels as I did, would have gone near to fall in love with him. For my part, I love him not.
Yes! Yes!
Nor hate him not. I have more cause to hate than to love him, for what did he do but chide at me? He said mine eyes were black and my hair orange, and now I am remembered scorned at me. I marvelled why I answered not again. But that's all one. Admittance is no quittance. I'll write to him a very taunting letter, and thou shalt bear it. Wilt thou, Silvia?
Phoebe, with all my heart.
I'll write it straight. The matter's in my head and in my heart. I'll be good with him and pass it short. Farewell, Silvius.
My prithee, pretty youth, let me be better acquainted with thee.
They say you are a melancholy fellow.
I am so. I do love it better than laughing.
Those who are in extremity of either are abominable fellows and betray themselves to every modern censure worse than drinking.
It is good to be sad and say nothing.
Why then 'tis good to be accursed?
I have neither the scholar's melancholy, which is emulation, nor the musician's, which is fantastical, nor the courtier's, which is proud, nor the lawyer's, which is politic, nor the lover's, which is all of these. But 'tis a melancholy of mine own, compounded of many simples, extracted from many objects, and indeed a sundry contemplation of my travels, in which my often rumination wraps me in a most humorous sadness.
A traveller? By my faith, you have great reason to be sad. I fear you have sold your lands to steal the men's, and to do so is to have rich eyes and poor hands.
I've gained my experience.
And it makes you sad. I'd rather have a fool to make me merry than experience to make me sad, and to travel for it too.
Nay then, God bind you, and you talk about this.
Day and happiness, dear Rosalind.
Nay! Never come in my sight no more! Serve me some to treat you, a lover! Never come in my sight no more!
My fair Rosalind, I come within an hour of my promise.
Break an hour's promise in love. He that will divide a minute into 1,000 parts, and break but a part of 1,000 parts. It may be said of him that Cupid hath clapped him on the shoulder, but I'll warrant him heart whole.
Pardon me, dear Rosalind.
No. Now I am as lief to be wooed of a snail.
A snail.
Aye. For though he comes slowly, he carries his house on his head a better joint treading than you can provide a woman, and besides, he brings his destiny with him.
What's that?
Why, pawns, which such as you are fain to be beholden to the women for, but he brings his own with him and thus prevents the slander of his wife.
Virtue is no horn maker, and my Rosalind is virtuous.
And I am your Rosalind.
It pleases him to call you so, but he has a Rosalind of better lay than you.
Now I'll be your Rosalind in a more coming on disposition. What would you say, and I were your very, very Rosalind?
I would kiss the water.
Nay, you might wait for the conversation and then take occasion to kiss.
How if the kiss be denied?
Well, then she puts us to entreaty and there begins a new matter.
Who could be out being before his beloved mistress?
And am I not your Rosalind?
I take some joy in saying you are, for then I would be talking to her.
Well then, in her own person, I say I will not have her.
Then in mine own person, I die.
No, Faith, die by attorney. The poor world is almost 6,000 years old, and in all that time, not one man has died in his own person for a love cause. Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love.
I would not have my right Rosalind of this mind, for I protest her frown might kill me.
By this hand, it will not kill a fly. But come, now I'll be your Rosalind in a more holiday humour. Ask me what you will, I will grant it.
Love me, Rosalind.
Aye, I will, Fridays and Saturdays and all.
And wilt thou have me?
Aye, and 20 such.
What sayest thou?
Are you not good?
I hope so.
Well then, can one desire too much of a good thing? Come, sister. You shall be the priest.
I know, John.
Mario.
I cannot say the words. Pretend that there
was.
Let's play pretend.
You must say, will you, Orlando?
Let's play pretend. Go cheese. Will you, Orlando, have to wife this Rosalind?
I will. Why, as soon as she can marry us.
You must say, I do take thee, Rosalind, the wife.
I do take thee, Rosalind, the wife.
So humour me. Let's play pretend, please. I can do it with ease. Just tell me you'll have me. To your knees, let's play pretend.
A woman who goes before the priest, and certainly a girl's thoughts go before her actions.
So do all thoughts their wings.
Nay, but tell me, Orlando, how long would you have her after thou hast possessed her?
Forever and a day.
Nay, Orlando, say a day without never. Men are April when they rule, December when they marry, maids are May when they are maids, but the sky changes when they are wives. I will be more jealous of thee than a Barbary cock pigeon over his head, more clamorous than a parrot against the rain, more newfangled than an ape. I will weep for nothing, like Diane in the fountain, and do so when you're inclined to be merry. I will laugh like a hind, and do so when you're inclined to sleep.
But will my Rosalind do so?
By my life, she will do as I do.
No, but she's wise.
Ah, but the wiser the wit, the waywarder. If you lock the doors on a woman's wit throughout the casement, if you shut that throughout the keyhole, if you close those, it will out with the smoke at the chimney.
A man with a wife with such a wit might say, which with a will.
He might have occasion to keep check for it when he finds his wife's wit going to his neighbour's bed.
And what wit could wit have to excuse that?
Why, to say she came to seek you there.
For these next 2 hours, Rosalind, I must leave thee.
Cannot lack thee 2 hours!
I must attend the Duke at dinner.
Fine. Go your ways! Go your ways! I knew what you would prove! My friends told me such, and I will know better. 'Twas your flattering tongue that won me. 2 hours and so come.
Aye, sweet Rosalind.
In the name of God, and by all promises that are not dangerous, if you break one jot of your promise, come 1 minute behind your hour, I will think you the most pathetical break promise, the most hollow lover, and the most unworthy of she that you call Rosalind out of the hordes of the unfaithful. So beware my censure and keep your promise.
With no less religion than if thou wert indeed my Rosalind. Adieu.
You have simply refused to partake in your upgrade. We should have the governor over your head. So the worker seat burns down to her own nest.
Oh, cause, my pretty little cause, if only you knew how many fathoms deep I am in love. My affection has an unknown bottom, like the Bay of Portugal.
Or rather bottomless, that as much as you pour affection into it, it runs out.
Nay, like that wicked bastard begot of Venus, born of spleen and conceived of madness. That blind rascally boy that abuses others' eyes as his owner out, like him, he judges how deep I am in love. But I tell you, Aliena, I cannot be out of sight of Orlando. We'll both find a shadow to sigh until he comes.
And I'll sleep.
Sheds. What say you now? It's not past 2 o'clock, and yet much Orlando.
I warrant you with pure love and true brain. You have paid us for an hour and gone forth to sleep. Who comes here?
My youngest youth, my gentle Phoebe, did bid me give you this. I don't know the contents, but as I guessed from the wasp-like action, stern brow, as she did use it as she was writing it, there's an angry tenor. Pardon me, I must be a guiltless messenger.
Why writes she so to me? She says that I am not fair, that I lack manners, that she could not love me, were a man as rare as Phoenix. Odds my little life. Her love is not the hair that I can own. No, this is your invention, Stuart.
Look, I don't know the contents. Phoebe did write it.
I saw her hands. She has freestone coloured hands. Verily, I didn't think her old gloves were on, but no. 'Twas her hands. But turning that matter aside, this is a man's hands and his invention.
Sure, it is hers.
Look how she defies me. She defies me like Turk to Christian. Wilt thou hear the letter?
So please you, for I never heard it yet. You heard too much of Phoebe's cruelty.
She Phoebe's me. Mark how the tyrant writes. Art thou God to steward turn, that a maiden heart hath burned? Can a woman rail thus?
Calling this railing?
Why thy Godhead laid apart, warst thou with a woman's heart? Did you ever hear such railing? Whilst the eye of man did woo me, that could do no vengeance to me. Meaning me, a beast. If the scorn of your bright eye have power to raise such love in mine, alack in me, what strange effect would they work in mild respect?
Whilst you did chide me, I did love, how then might your prayers move? He that brings this love to thee, little knows this love in me, and by him seal up thy mind, whether that thy youth and kind will the faithful offer take of me and all that I can make, or else by him my love deny.
And then I'll study how to die.
Call you this child?
Alas, poor steward.
Do you pity him? No, do not pity him. Wouldst thou love such a woman to play thee false strains upon thee like an instrument? No. Go your ways. I see love has made thee a tame snake. Take my answer to her. Tell her Tell her that I would not have her unless you recommend her, but that in denying me, she should take thee instead. Now, if you be a true lover, hence, and not a word, for here comes more company. Put that bloody book down.
Good morrow, fair ones. Pray you of you know where in the palace of this forest stands a sheepcote fenced about with olive trees?
West of this place. It's west of this place.
Down in the neighbour.
What?
The rank of Ozzy is down by the murmuring stream. Left on your right hand brings you to the place. But at this hour, the house doth keep itself. There's none within.
If that and I may profit by a tongue, then should I know you by description? Are you not the owner of the house I did inquire for?
It is no boast being asked to say I.
Him!
We are. Orlando doth commend him to you both. And to that youth, he calls his Rosalind. He sends this bloody napkin. Are you he?
I am. What are we to understand by this?
Some of my shame. What man I am. And how and why and where this handkerchief was stained.
I pray tell it.
When last the young Orlando parted from you, he left a promise to return again within an hour. And, pacing through the forest, chewing the food of sweet and bitter fancy, lo, what befell? He threw his eye aside, and marked what object did present itself. Under an oak, whose boughs were mossed with age, and high-top bald with dry antiquity, and wretched, ragged man, o'ergrown with hair. Lay sleeping on his back. About his neck, a green and gilded snake had wreathed itself. Who with her head, nimble in threads, approached the opening of her mouth. Her? But when Orlando approached, it unlinked itself and would slip away with indented glides into a bush, under which bush's shade a lioness lay couching, head on ground with cat-like watch, for when that the sleeping man did stir. For 'tis the royal disposition of that beast, to prey on nothing that doth seem as dead. This seen, Orlando did approach the man, and found it was his brother, his elder brother.
I have heard him speak of that same brother. He did render him the most unnatural of amongst men.
And well he might so do, for, well I know he was unnatural.
But to Orlando, did he leave him there food to the supped and hungry lioness?
Twice did he turn his back on purpose so, but kindness nobler even than revenge, and nature, stronger than his just occasion, made him give battle to the lioness, who quickly fell before him, in which, hurtling from miserable slumber, dun, 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 I awake.
Are you brother?
Was you he rescued?
Was you that is so often trying to kill him?
'Twas I, but 'tis not I. I do not shame to tell you what I was, but my conversion so sweetly tastes being the thing I am.
But for the bloody napkin?
By and by, when from the first to last betwixt us two, tears I recount as most kindly bud, as how I came unto that desert place. In brief, he led me to the gentle Duke, who gave me fresh array and entertainment, committing me unto my brother's love, who there led me instantly unto his cave, and stripped himself.
Oh.
Here, upon his arm, the lioness had torn some flesh away, which all this while had bled, but now he fainted, and cried in fainting upon Rosalind. Brief, I recovered him, bound up his wound, and, after some small space, being strong at heart, he sent me hither, stranger as I am, to tell this story, and to give this napkin, dyed in his blood, to the shepherd youth that he in sport doth call his Rosalind.
Oh, Ganymede! Cousin Ganymede! Cousin Ganymede!
Many will swoon when they do look on blood.
There is more to it, Cousin Ganymede. Ah.
Look, he recovers.
I would I were at home.
Come hither. I pray you, good sir, will you take him by the arm?
Be of good cheer, youth. You are a man, you lack a man's heart.
Oh, I do, sirrah, I confess it, but I pray you, commend my counterfeiting to your brother.
This was not counterfeit. There is too great testimony in your complexion that it was a passion of earnest.
Oh, counterfeit, I assure you, sir.
Well then, take a good heart, and be counterfeit to be a man.
I do, sir, but I pray you, tell your brother how well I counterfeited to swoon.
Come, you look paler and paler. I pray you draw homewards. Good sir. You're with us?
That I will, for I must bear answer back. And how will you excuse my brother, Rosalind?
I will devise some way, but in the meantime, remember to commend my counterfeiting to him. Will you go? Bloody useless.
We shall find a time, Audrey. Patience, gentle Audrey.
Fair. The priest was good enough for all the old gentleman's saying.
A most wicked Sir Oliver Audrey, a most vile Martex. But Audrey, there is a youth in the forest lays claim to you.
Aye. I know who it is. He hath no interest in me in the world. Here comes the man you mean.
It is food and drink to me to see a clown. By my troth, we that have good wits have much to answer for. We shall be flouting we cannot hold.
Good evening, Audrey.
Good evening, William.
And good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, gentle friend. Cover thy head, cover thy head. Nay, prithee be covered. Yes. Oh, how old are you, friend?
25, sir.
All right, age. Is thy name William?
William, sir.
A fair name. Wast thou born in the forest here?
Aye, sir. I thank God.
Thank God! A good answer. Art rich?
Faith, sir. So, sir.
So is good, very excellent good, and yet it is not. For it is but so. Art thou wise?
Aye, sir. I have a pretty wit.
Aye, thou sayest well. I do now remember a saying. The fool doth think he is wise, yet the wise man knows himself to be a fool. The heathen philosopher, when he would desire a grape, would put it to his lips when he opened his mouth, meaning thereby that grapes were meant to eat and lips to open. You do love this maid?
I do, sir.
Give me thy hand, art thou learned?
No, sir.
Learn this of me. To have is to have. It is in figure that the chloric drink, being poured from a glass into a cup, filling one, doth empty the other. If all your writers do consent, the isp is he. Now, you are not the isp, for I am he.
Richard, sir.
He must marry this woman. Therefore, you, clown, abandon, which in the vulgar is leave, the society. in boorish the company of this woman, which together is leave the society of this woman, or, clown, thou perishest, or to thy better understanding diest, or to wit, I kill thee. Make thee away, configure thy life into bondage. I will deal in poison with thee, or in bastinina, or in steel. I will bandy with thee. I will overrun thee with policy. I will kill you 150 ways. Therefore, tremble and depart.
I missed you very, sir.
Touchdown!
Is it possible that from so little acquaintance you should like her, and that by seeing you should love her, and loving woo, and wooing she should grant? Come on!
Sorry. Neither called the giddiness of it in question, the poverty of hers sudden wooing, my sudden consenting, but say with me that I love Aliena, and say with her that she loves me. Consent with us both that we will enjoy each other. It shall be to your profit. My father's house, on all the revenue that was Sir Rowland's, I will estate upon you, and here live and die a steward.
You have my consent. Go you be with Aliena. For look, here comes my Rosalind.
God save you, brother.
And you, fair sister.
Oh, my dear Orlando. How it does pain me to see thee wear thy heart in a sleeve.
Kiss my arm.
But I thought your heart had been wounded by the claws of a lion.
Wounded it is, but with the eyes of a lady.
Did your brother tell you how well I counterfeited to swoon on hearing of your injuries?
Aye, and greater ones than that.
Oh, I know wherein you stand. For your brother and my sister no sooner looked than they loved. No sooner loved than they sighed. No sooner sighed than they asked each other the reason. No sooner knew the reason than they sought the remedy. They are in the very grip of love. Clubs cannot part them.
Oh, how bitter a thing it is to look into happiness through another man's eyes. By so much the more shall I be at the height of heart heaviness tomorrow. By how much shall I think of my brother happy in having what he wishes for.
I cannot serve your turn for Rosalind tomorrow then.
I can live no longer by thinking.
I will weary you then no longer with idle talking. Know of me then, for I can do strange things. If you do love Rosalind so near the heart as your gesture does cry out, I know into what straits of fortune she is headed, and it is not impossible to me, if it be not inconvenient to you, to bring her here, human as she is and unharmed.
Speakest thou in sober meaning?
By my faith, I do. Oh, here comes a love of mine and a lover of hers.
You have done me much ungentleness to show the letter that I writ to you.
I cannot, if I have. It is my study to seem despiteful to you.
Sylvius, tell this youth what 'tis to love.
It is to be all made of sighs and tears. So am I for Phoebe.
An eye for Gavin.
An eye for Rosalind.
An eye for no woman.
It is to be all made of faith and service. And so am I for Phoebe.
An eye for Ganymede.
Eye for Rosalind.
An eye for no woman.
It is to be all made of passion, all made of fantasy, all made of wishes. All humbleness, all patience and impatience. All adoration, duty and observance. All purity, trial and obedience. And so am I for Phoebe.
And so am I for Ganymede.
So am I for Rosalind.
So am I for no woman.
If this be so, why then ye me to
to love you.
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
Who do you speak to if this be so? Why blame you me to love you?
To her that is not here, nor doth not here.
Not enough. It is like the howling of Irish wolves against the moon. I will help you if I can. I would love you if I could. I will marry you if ever I marry woman, and I will be coupled tomorrow. I will content you if ever I content man, and you shall be contented tomorrow. I will content you if what pleases you contents you, and you shall be contented tomorrow. Now, as you love Phoebe, meet. As you love Rosalind, meet. As you love Ganymede, meet. And as I love no woman, I'll meet. I've given you your tasks. Now go about.
I'll not fail if I live.
Nor I.
Nor I.
Love ran its last with a hey and a ho and a hey, nonny no. That oh, the green cornfields did pass. In the springtime, the only pretty ringtime was the birds to sing, hey, ring-a-ding-ding. Sweet love is love the spring, between the acres and the rye, with a hey and a ho and a hey, nonny no. Was a love ran its last with a hey and a ho and a hey, nonny no. That all the green cornfields did pass in the springtime, in the only pretty ringtime. Sweet love is love the spring, between the acres and the rye, with a hey and a ho and a hey, nonny no.
Dost thou believe, Orlando, that the boy could do all that he hath promised?
I sometimes do believe and sometimes do not. As those that hope they fear, know they fear.
Patience once more was thy contact is. You say that if I bring Rosalind here, you will bestow her on young Orlando here.
That I would, had I any kingdoms to give her.
And you say you'll have her.
That were I if I were all kingdoms king.
And you say you'll have me if I be willing.
That will I, should I die the hour after.
But should you not be willing, you'll take this faithful steward in my place.
So is the bargain.
And you will have her.
But to have her and death are both one thing.
I will go to make all these matters easy. Come on, get off your boyfriend.
I can remember in this steward boy some lively touches of my daughter's favour.
My lord, when I first saw him, methought he was a brother to your daughter, but he is forest born. And he hath been tutored in the rudiments of many desperate studies by his uncle, whom he claims to be a great magician, obscured in the very circle of the forest.
Greeting and salutations to everyone.
Good, my lord. Bid him welcome. This is the motley-minded gentleman that I had so often met in the forest. He hath been a courtier, he swears.
If in any doubt, learn this of me. I have wooed a lady, been smooth with mine enemy, been poetic with my friend, have quarrelled with 4 people, undone 3 tailors. I would like to have fought one.
Is this not a rare fellow, my lord? He is as good at anything, and yet a fool.
He uses his folly like a stalking horse, and out of the presentation he shoots his wit.
To you, I give myself for I am yours. And to you, I give myself for I am yours.
If there be truth in sight, you are my Rosalind.
If there be truth in sight, you are my Rosalind.
If sight and shape be true, but then my love, adieu!
I'll have no father if you be not keen. And no husband.
I bar confusion. 'Tis unhusband conclusion of these most strange events.
least thou art welcome, even daughter welcome in no less degree.
I will not keep my word. Now thou art mine. Thy face my fancy to be good.
Let me have audience for a word or two. Duke Frederick, hearing how that every day men of great worth resorted to this forest, addressed the mighty power which were on foot, in his own conduct purposely to take his brother here and put him to the sword. And to the skirts of the wild wood he came, where, meeting with an old religious man, after some questioning him, was converted, both from his enterprise and from the world, bequeathed his crown to his banished brother, and lands restored to them again, who were with him exiled. This to be true, I do engage my life.
Sir, by your patience, if I did hear you rightly, the Duke had put on a religious life and thrown into neglect the pompous court.
Yeah.
To him will I. Out of these convertites there is much matter to be heard and learned. To your former honour I bequeath, your patience and virtue well deserves it. You, to a love that your true faith doth merit. You, to your land and love and great allies. You, to a long and well-deserved bed. And you, to wrangling, for thy loving voyage is but 2 months victualled. Now to your pleasures. I am rather than dancing measures.
Stay, sir, will you stay?
To see no passerby. What you would have, I'll stay to see at your abandoned cave.
Proceed, proceed, we do begin these rites, as we will trust they'll end in true delights.
It is not the fashion to see the lady in the epilogue, but it is no more unfashionable than to see the lord in the prologue. To good, it's said that good wines need no good bushes, and therefore good plays do not need good epilogues. What a case am I in, then, that I cannot insinuate with you on the behalf of a good play, nor am I a good epilogue. I am not furnished like a beggar, therefore it would not suit me to beg. My way is to conjure, and I'll begin with the women. I charge you, O woman, for the love you bear to men, that to like as much of the play as pleases. And I charge you, O men, for the love you bear to women, as I perceive by your simpering that none of you hates them, that between you and the women the play may please. And if I were a woman, I would kiss as many of you as had good beards, complexions that like me, and breasts that defied me not. And as many of you that have good beards, or good faces, or sweet breasts, will, when I make my curtsy, bid me farewell.